All right. I feel like my chat needs to be down here. My mic is showing a lot of noise. Why? Okay. What do I want to do with this? Hello to whoever just popped in. I see you on my analytics. Say hi in chat. You have to be subscribed though. I turned that on to hopefully keep the spam bots to a minimum. last time I tried to stream, that just got ridiculous. So that's why I'm trying the subscriber only mode. Don't know if it'll work, but we'll see. So I'm working on building out some of this map. I'm trying to fill this desert with a bunch of rocks, trying to make a little bit of a maze out of it. KC, okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm working on building out my map a little bit. Don't know if you looked at this before, or don't remember how much I showed you guys, but I have the forest area kind of roughed in over here, and a little swamp area. I've got a lot of details to do. Right now I'm trying to kind of rough in my desert area, and it's going to be kind of have like a maze built into it, and at some point I'll go back through and then add in, you know, the details. I'll have some movable objects that you'll have to have a certain in-game item to be able to move those. Kind of like, was it one of the, I think it was one of the Zelda games, you had to get like gloves or something to be able to move big rocks. A Link to the Past, I think it was. That's kind of where I took inspiration for, well, a lot of this game. But so right down here I have this little starfish is represents a spawn point where enemies will spawn on the map. So basically what I'm doing is kind of developing a maze in the area that will kind of force the enemies to find a certain way to get into the general vicinity of their center target, which is this treasure chest right here. That's their primary target. So then if you get too close to them, of course they'll turn and chase you instead. But to implement the tower defense elements of the game, these paths will kind of force the enemies to follow a certain path, kind of delaying their inevitable making their way to the center of the map. But there'll be also these little, I call them build spots, but they're, let's see, where's my, somewhere in my hierarchy I have buildables. Okay, right here's one. So it's a little square stone that you can interact with and build a tower on. So I'll put some of those along the path throughout the map. Like I've got two right here, right by that main treasure chest. Of course you want to build there eventually. But over here in like the swamp area, there's like one right in the middle of the swamp. So the spawn point's down here, and then they have to kind of make their way through here this way, and this one tower spot will be able to kind of cover an area there right in the middle. I think I might be putting another tower spot over in this area somewhere. I'm not sure yet. That's just kind of, like I said, this is kind of roughed in. I did add a few more details than I remembered with the little cattail stuff or whatever I got going on there. But okay, and it looks like you left, so I'll stop talking to myself. Oh, and now it's showing people still here. My analytics are weird because it just showed nobody, and now it shows like nobody left. Yeah, I have a lot to cover. Yeah, my original idea for this was basically a Zelda-like game with tower defense. So you can actually go fight the enemies one-on-one, or you can build towers and let the towers do the work for you. And that's why the map has to have these little paths built into it to kind of cater to that tower defense thing. But there'll also be, like I said, elements where or areas of the map, I guess, where it's more free roam. Like these plains areas are going to be more free roam. I don't have any enemies spawning down here. I'll fill in some details and put some interesting things throughout the map, kind of like NPC side quest kind of things, because you'll be able to talk to NPCs, and I know I get graphical glitches when I zoom in and out on my map because it's kind of big, but you'll be able to talk to NPCs and they'll kind of give you hints as far as where to look for stuff. Basically, you have the whole map to explore and find hidden items. Like, for example, I've got 8 of these heart container things. So they're not heart containers in the sense of, well, I guess they kind of are, like Zelda. Basically, you find the heart object and it adds to your health. So, like in the UI over here, there's your indicator that this is your health bar, and then basically you pick one of those up and it'll fill your health bar and add to your maximum health. So there are number indicators there as well. But anyway, you have the whole map to kind of wander around and find the hearts and armor upgrades and weapon upgrades and things like that. And in the meantime of exploring, since new players won't know the map, you'll come across, inevitably find your way down these mazes and come across these spawn points. So when you get within a certain range of that spawn point, you'll hear a sound like water making noise, and then I'll actually have a boat that spawns outside the camera view and then comes in beside that spawn point and will start spawning enemies right where that starfish is. Now for testing purposes, I can actually walk onto that spawn point and it'll spawn enemies just for testing, but like I haven't decided if I'm actually going to leave that in the game or not and just not say anything about it later. Kind of like not a bug, but just like a Easter egg kind of thing. So you could actually sit there and spawn enemies manually and have kind of like grind for coins, because the enemies will drop coins, which you need for upgrades, which they'll spawn naturally, but you could make it happen faster by yeah, there's not really an XP system. Basically you upgrade by finding armor, the heart container things, health upgrades, whatever you want to call them, and then you get the coins from the enemy drops to upgrade your towers. There'll be resources to harvest for building the towers, repairing bridges. There'll also be some bridges will have to be repaired through like finishing a NPC's side quest, like kind of storyline type things. So things like that. I've got a lot of work to do on this game. But yeah, so right now, like I said, I'm just kind of trying to fill in this map. I don't know how it's going to look with these rocks. I might have to like do some rotate them, flip them, things like that to make it look a little bit better. But each one has a what do you call it, collider on it for physics, so that the player and the enemies, neither one can walk through. The enemies will actually, the pathfinding will avoid them. And like I said, the player won't be able to walk through them or move them, except for certain ones that have a script on them that will allow the player to move it. And actually, that's only going to be a certain type of rock visual. Like, let's see, I've got it in here. So this rock here, I've got one on the map so far. Well, that's the prefab. We don't want that. Somewhere over here in my hierarchy, I have interactable, movable rocks. So I've got the one. So up here, there's this little area. You need to be able to move this rock to get down inside here to get to that one heart container. Basically, that's about it. Just little things like that are going to be scattered throughout the map. I have a kind of tunnel system where it won't show you inside the tunnel, but like when you walk into it and activate the script that I haven't written yet, it will kind of teleport you over to the other side of wherever that tunnel comes out. This will be likely the first one you encounter, and then I actually have a little mountain up here that's got a whole bunch of tunnel doors on it that will basically, this is going to be like a little mini game kind of thing, because there's an armor piece, a weapon, and a heart container over here, and that's upper tier weapons and armor. But basically, to get to those, you are going to go into one of these doors, and there's 3 initially that you can get into. This one here, this one here, and this one here. And these doors are all going to be listed in an array that will, when you enter one of those doors, it will pick a random one to spit you out of. Yes, you don't know which one you're coming out of. You just got to keep going in and out. And I think that I will probably add a percentage chance of finding certain doors. Like, I'll know which one you have to get through to get to the heart container or the weapon or the armor. Yeah, so it'll be random, but I may add a chance to get to the certain ones. Like, the weapon will probably be a little harder, because that spear, actually the spears in my game have a higher attack value, and this is like the top tier one. So basically, you, like, when you come up here, you'll be able to see it laying there on your screen, but to get to it, you'll figure out, okay, you got to go through one of these doors. So when you start going into them, then you come out at a random one, and it might take you a while. You might go to it right away. So it just kind of, there's not going to be any method to it. I could add an algorithm that if you went into a certain door first, it would have to track which ones you went into and out of and things like that. And if you went into them in a certain order, it would spit you out in a certain order, and you could go straight to it faster. But I don't know. I think just the randomization would be enough. I could do a mercy system where if you go in and out of so many doors without going to that certain one, then it picks that one. So that's something I could do too. But yeah, I haven't actually built the mechanics of that yet. I just built the map part. So let's see. Now I need to figure out how I want to do this. So basically, yeah, I'm just duplicating rocks and throwing them around the map. I think I want to block this off right here. I want to try to add a little bit of a, I guess, rough line of objects rather than just lining them up, you know, like the old NES style. Because while I do have an AI grid, I don't have a fixed grid for placing objects. So, let's see. By the way, can you actually hear the background music I have playing right now? I have it turned way down, but I also know my mic is kind of low, which actually I turned up, I added a gain filter in OBS to kind of crank my mic up that way, hoping that it helps. So I'm kind of curious as to if that's any better than it was with the our mastermind sessions. So I have a good balance. Okay. I was actually expecting my voice to be a little bit louder than the music, but like when I talk, you can hear me over the music. I guess that's the main thing. Okay. Alright, that works. Actually, I don't have to change Z at all because it's not getting used. It's 2D. Yeah, we'll go with that, I think. Another thing about this desert area is having these paths kind of wide and spread out is I think it'll help because of based on the player's screen size. So like if I get my player over here, and if I take him, he's got the screen attached to him, right? So that white rectangle, and if I move him over here, then you can kind of see Like that's what he'll be able to see standing in that spot. So I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of get a feel for what that'll feel like, I guess. Whoa. I kind of pulled my mouse farther than I... Yeah, so that's interesting, I guess. Okay, so I've got... I think I'm just going to stick another one of these big rocks down here. And throw one out here for the fun of it, I guess. I think I'm going to block this off. Yep, we're gonna do that. So you can kind of come in here and you could get enemies to chase you in here and run around in circles. Be a strategy option. Laying down rocks where the enemies also collide with them simplify the pathfinding process. Well, the rocks are on an obstacle layer, so the prefabs are. So the pathfinding system, when it calculates, it ignores or blocks off that layer mask. From a dev standpoint, like I'm using the A-star pathfinding system, so it let's see, I'm trying to remember, it's been a while since I actually implemented it, but I think you can assign it a let's see. Let's see, so pathfinding. Pretty sure one of these pathfinding scripts, you can set a layer mask for it to ignore when it calculates. Yes. Obstacle layer mask. You just set that up in the Pathfinder script. That all of the like you take an enemy and you add that seeker script, and then it will use this main A-star Pathfinder object to find the path. This determines the grid. So if I zoom out here, there's this big white rectangle over top of the whole map. That is all of the possible pathfinding area. So I just made it cover, basically, there's the furthest point north on the map. I could actually bring that down a little bit. There's the eastmost point, the westmost point, and then the southernmost point. And then basically by adding in that obstacle layer object, it blocks that off from the available nodes. So when it finds a path from where it's at to its target, it basically has to go around those. So even though there's these other walkable nodes, it's never going to use them because it can't get to them. If that makes sense. No, I'm not coding in a set path. That's what the A-Star Pathfinding project takes care of. I'm a bit curious in avoiding... Yeah, I didn't create any manual pathfinding script. I used the A-Star pathfinding project, and it basically makes... There's a little bit of setup to it, but it's very let me actually, so if let's see, where's it at? I have it on I have a shortcut browser somewhere. So right here, it's aarongrandberg.com whatever / he's the guy that came up with this, I guess, and I think there's a bunch of people helping him now. I'm not sure, but there's a free version and then there's the pro version. You can either buy it here or on the in the Unity Asset Store. They have the older versions are available to get. You just have to get a pro license. Actually, you may have to buy the pro license through the Unity Asset Store. I'm not sure. But this is where I downloaded the free version from. And they've got documentation for how to set it up. And they actually have different scripts you can use to choose how your pathfinding behaves. And I don't remember what all they were, but I know I had to pick one that worked for my project. But then essentially, you have the one main A-Star object in your game world, and you put the Pathfinder script on it, and you've got some setup there that sets up your grid, and then any character object or whatever, any movable object that you put that seeker script on uses that Pathfinder game object to do its movement. And actually, I referenced the seeker script in this enemy movement controller that I wrote, which is loosely based on the character controller that came with my character assets that I bought. If you noticed lately on Jason Wyman's Game Dev Show, they've been giving away copies of that. Well, actually, it's these art assets that I'm using. The customizable, or 2D hand painted tile sets. So let's see here. That's tile palette. I think Sprite. yeah, basically it gives you all these hand painted art assets. But I made tile palettes out of, let's see, that's in the extra objects. Let's look for like the grassland tile set. Like I went through these things and picked out what I needed to make. I put this tile palette together and kind of organized it. I can't zoom out any further. Wow. But yeah, that took a while. But I organized it so that I can go through and kind of pick out which parts I want, and I built my map that way. Some of this, like a lot of this, I haven't actually used. It's just I organized it kind of. I noticed last couple weeks his live streams have been on Mondays, so the UI is different. So this stuff, I can't remember. I kind of pieced this together out of some. Well, that piece of wood right there is one of these sprites, and the stone. And those are actually just, I just made icons out of what I'm using for some of my prefabs I made for resources. Let's see, where do I have that at? Interactables. So I have wood and stone resources. I just used the same sprites, made icons for my UI. I forget where I got the coin, honestly, and the heart and the treasure chest. These weapon and armor icons, those came with the character assets, except for the arrow. I need to get a new arrow. I don't like that. That's a little generic one I made. Very, very low resolution, and it's not very good. But yeah, the weapons and armor pieces I got out of the character pack. These 4 empty spots I have here, eventually I'm going to have, and I wrote it in a doc. So here's my kind of, and I need to update it, but I have a to-do list of things I need to work on in my game. I have some stuff to add, mechanics that need fixed or finished or done, some just thoughts for what to use for some NPC dialogue. Let's see, here it is. My game objects list. So my specials are the amulets, bracelets, a ring, and something else. I don't know what yet, but like there'll be different attributes that they give you, and I put the colors here. That's kind of the color that I want to have in whatever gemstones or whatever are on those objects, just for aesthetic purposes, I guess. But like whichever one of these I make in with the red stone, that'll be for strength. That'll allow you to move those stones I talked about. You have a white one that'll allow you to sprint for a short period of time. There'll be a green one that gives you better drops from enemies that you kill as the player, not from tower drops. And then there'll be a blue one for, I called it agility. This is just kind of dev notes here, but an attack power bonus. So in addition to whatever upgrade your attack power upgrade your weapon gives you, there'll also be you can get this amulet to get an upgrade to that as well. And then just, yeah, some other notes, like I'm going to have special attack abilities that you can learn from certain NPCs that you might find out in the wild. Just things like that. But yeah, I haven't actually looked all the way through this list for quite a while. But yeah, so I've got that to go through. Alright, let's see. So, I've got... using the system. Yeah, I have a dialogue script or dialogue manager that basically handles the UI part of the dialogue. Like I have a menu item. Let's see, my UI. So I have this dialogue box. Let me show the game view here. So if I turn that on, it'll pop up down here. And this is, I'm not super happy with this graphic either. It's kind of a generic looking scroll thing I got. Some of these UI elements like that heart, that treasure chest, the coin, this scroll thing, I got those out of some UI stuff I got in a Humble Bundle a long time ago. But because I thought, yeah, I'll use some of this stuff eventually. A lot of it is repetitive and some of it's not very good, but there is some cool stuff in there. It just depends on what game you're making as to how good it is, but or how useful it is. But anyway, so then the NPC characters have methods that access this dialogue thing and fill it in with their text, and it's got, you know, the commands to continue the conversation, and then I've got like the ability to have like checkpoints in the conversation, and you can walk away from the NPC to kind of just end the conversation at any time, and then if you come back, you'll be at that last conversational checkpoint. And I honestly don't remember where I got that from. I think I used a YouTube tutorial to get that working. It might have been, I don't think it was Code Monkeys. It might have been a Bracky's video. I don't remember for sure. So yeah, that's what I'm doing for dialogue. Let's see. I'm trying to decide how far I want the enemies to have to go before they can get back to the into the town area. And I'm not 100% sure these two houses are going to stay here. I was kind of doing a little rough sketching of like the little village in the center of the map. I think this house definitely might go away. I might leave one up here. Yeah, it's just a lot of thinking about how I want things to look overall, how I want the enemies to have to behave. If you have any suggestions, I'm open. Yeah, I honestly, I've kind of gone into this entire game without really a lot of pre pre-planned pre-planning done. I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. So, like, to start with, I was like, okay, I don't even know what kind of world map I want. Well, let me show you how I wound up with this. I found a picture of Ireland on Google that was divided up into 4 areas by color, and I used those colors to kind of generate my biomes. And where they have these stars on the map, because this is like some kind of political map is what it was. So like where there's a star or another major city marked, which I guess they have one for each kind of area, that's where I put my spawn points for the enemies on the map. That's how I came up with that much of it. So then I kind of went through, you can actually see here the mountain areas kind of follow where this upper area is divided into different shades of the color. That's, I guess, kind of traced it, and that's where my mountains wound up being. This little mountain area here, I just kind of added that extra, but random map generator for D&D. Okay, that's something I've never actually done, is played D&D. My son has with some friends. I've got other online friends that have, that I know, you know, they've talked about it. Actually, one guy's done some live streaming of it in the past, but I don't think he has recently. But that's something I have never done. I've never played D&D. But yeah, this is where I got my inspiration for my map. Yeah, I mean, and you can, I mean, if you're artistic, you can create assets for whatever you want, right? I'm not. So for me, yeah, it was a little bit limiting. Now, like the let's see what I do with it. Like, okay, my tile palette, I have that. I bought the bundle, right, for those 2D hand painted tile sets, and they came with these different shaded colors. Like, I'm thinking, like, this is my general color that I'm using. Okay, it's a little brighter. And then, so like up in the mountains, like I said, I haven't like fine-tuned all of my map area yet, but like I'm thinking of using something with like the darker steps and things like that. So like up in this area, let's see, like up here, I might change those out for the darker version of the steps. Like up here, and there's an NPC house up there. There'll be a guy up there you can go find, and he'll send you off on some quest halfway across the map. But no electronic. Yeah, too much thinking. Too much pen and paper. I was actually, well, I mean, I guess not really surprised my son got into it. He's very, he likes to take advantage of systems and exploit them. So anything he can find, like when you have your D&D characters, at least this is my understanding of how it works, they have different stats. So he likes to find ways to exploit those things. So I think that's the appeal to it for him. Yeah, and actually, I'll be honest, I know how to do enough stuff. Like, there's a couple of the sprites in this pack that I actually had to fix. There were just little. It was like in these rocks where things just didn't line up just right, or like a color was just a little off. Where, because I mean, I know, not naive. Like, every one of these variations wasn't hand painted. He started with a base and then he added the color variants over top of copies, right? So, but I would notice little sections where, and this was when I was building my demo world, I found this out. There was little parts that just didn't line up exactly right, or it had a little blotch of the wrong color still in it, and I was able to go into GIMP and use that to fix it. Not a big deal, but I can do little stuff like that. But coming up with the idea and creating stuff from scratch, like just these little details, like the shading on this lily pad, I would never know how to do that. Like, just to do it. Like, there's the shadows on the rock. But yeah, that, and I honestly can't remember. I think it might have been one of these that I had to fix the color on, because something didn't just line up quite right. Like I said, the corner of it just had a little light splotch or something, but I went in and fixed that. Okay, so I think I'm okay with this so far. Maybe move this a little bit this way. Okay, I've heard you mention him a few times, I think. I've never watched his channel. But it is, if it's art related, that's why. Yeah, I'm just not an artist. And like some of these open areas here, like right now I'm roughing in. So like along the shore, like how I had those little cattails and stuff in the swamp, I'll have little details along the shore. Like my tile palettes have all this little stuff. So like I can take these like little rocks and they'll just go on the tile map as decoration that you can like walk over. So they'll be, or like little piles of seashells that might lay along the beach. They won't be there for anything other than decoration. Like you'll be able to walk right over top of them. But like some parts of the map will have just like random stuff that you have to go around, like these rocks in the middle of an area just for no reason. I don't know, just something to add to the environment, because that's something I'm gonna struggle with is polishing the game by adding those little details. Yeah, just giving it that kind of not realistic, but like, I don't know, immersive, I guess. Um, yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to struggle with that, but I've got so much work to do on this map. I will feel better once I get an area roughed in. So like, the mountains are kind of roughed in with, you know, the terrain. So there's like, and actually I need to go up here and change this. I need to add a staircase down over here. I had intended to do that. I forget if it was up here or down here. I think it might have been down here. I can't remember now. But because I'm going to block this off, probably with trees or something. I'm not sure yet. I might extend this over and then have a tunnel over here, similar to this. I don't know. I'll go back to the mountains later. The plains are going to be kind of barren. Like, I'll have, you know, a few things scattered around, but that's basically your easy enemies are going to come from down here, because that's probably going to be the first place you go explore. And the first like enemy spawn point you'll find is the one down here. Yeah, not sure how I'll handle the progression yet either. But then probably the second place you'll go is the desert. And then you'll kind of go through the forest and eventually get up into the mountains. But then I'll have to open a path, which I kind of started to here. But I'll have to open a path so you can get back this way. So you can kind of go all the way around the map. Yeah, I think that should have been a big one too. I'm not sure how I want to do this. I actually think I want to block this off. I also haven't decided if I'm going to add more spawn points beyond those 4 eventually. So like maybe have one up here. Maybe one over here somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. But I definitely don't want to block that off. Probably going to have some kind of rock maze here. Where it kind of splits initially. And you'll have one way will lead you around and put you out over here, and the other way will lead you around and put you out down here. I might not even have the split there. I might have the split further in. We'll see. I actually did a forest maze over here, this mess of trees. And there's multiple paths out of there, but you almost can never see your character while you're in there. So that's interesting. But I have actually got it mapped out where if you do a certain sequence of controls, and you just go a certain direction at a time until your character stops, and then you change direction a certain way. There's 3. Well, there's the initial entrance, but then there's 2 ways out. You can come out over here, or you can come out up here. So I might do something similar over here. And if you come out up here, you're not going to get anything. If you come out down here, there's a thing waiting for you. I also haven't decided if I'm going to add other enemies that are not spawnable enemies, but maybe like a kind of a mini boss that, you know, guards like this pickup might have some kind of, I don't know, desert monster over here. A rock monster or something like that. Okay, so I've thought of a couple ways to do the enemy spawning. Initially, it'll probably be when you get within a certain distance of a spawn point, it'll trigger it. And then as long as it's triggered, like you don't leave the area, they'll spawn every so often in increasingly difficult waves. Like the first wave initial at the beginning of the game, your first wave of enemies is going to be like 3. A boat will drop off like three enemies, and they'll start making their way towards that treasure chest up in the village on the top of that little hill, right? And like I said, you can get close to them and distract them, and they'll come after you. But and that'll be fine when there's only a few. But later on in the game, when you have, like, I haven't decided if I want to how I want to do the wave progression yet, and I may do it differently for each spawn point. I don't know yet. I could either do each wave adds 1 or 2 more to the total number of enemies it spawns. Or the enemies, it can spawn the same number of enemies, but they get progressively tougher. Like give them more hit points, more attack power, stuff like that. There will be like eventually some kind of a boss enemy that it spawns one. It's got like the guy's like visually larger than the others and has got like 10 times as many hit points or something stupid. I don't know. Just to kind of add that extra random difficulty to the game. But they could be, and I'm getting a phone call. I will text him and let him know I'll call him back. But now I'm trying to remember. I had thought of a few ways to do the enemy spawning, but like as far as handling ones that you've been to, like they may still periodically just kind of trigger a random spawn once you've been to that location. Let's see. If enemies respawn with a triggered proximity or based on time, I have more spawn. Even if yeah, so yeah, I thought about doing, I probably won't do it so that it has to wait for you to kill all of the first wave. It'll just be, the waves will be timer based. But to start the waves, initially you'll have to enter that area. But then like I say, if you leave the area, I may or may not have it to where you can have a random wave spawn even if you're across the map, which kind of will prompt you to want to build those towers so you defend your your village while you're not there. That's kind of part of the tower defense part too. So you can, and those won't be like relentless, and you probably wouldn't get like a boss spawn from a random one of those random spawns, but they would be very sporadic, like probably 20-30 minutes apart, maybe not that far, maybe 10 to 15 minutes apart in game time, in gameplay, or real time. So but then maybe once you unlock, maybe that random spawn time doesn't happen until you've unlocked, like I said, we'll have some type of progression. You'll go from one area to the other. So once you unlock that first spawn point the first time, say you leave the area, you go to another section of the map. Well, once you when you find that next spawn point, it might enable those random spawns from the first one, and then as you find the third spawn point area, then it would unlock random spawns from the second one. So you want to make sure sometime in there you're finding resources, building towers, upgrading them as you get the coin to do it from killing the waves of enemies. There'll also be other Easter eggs in the game, are random coin drops, and they might have a few hundred or 1,000 coins or whatever, or a couple thousand. I don't know, but so you have to be careful as you're exploring that you don't, at that point, so you don't wind up with accidentally unlocking all your spawn points before you've upgraded your armor and stuff. Because I'm thinking at some point there has to be, at some point in the game, there has to be a trigger that says all of the spawn points on the map begin spawning enemies. Yeah, and that's like I said, that's part of the tower defense, where I have these zones kind of have paths that the enemies have to follow to kind of slow them down. You have build spots where you can build your towers, and you can set up those defenses to help you. But like end game would be all the spawn points become active, and they don't even necessarily just like, because you're not going to be necessarily in that area, the boat might not spawn, it'll just start spawning enemies. Like I wouldn't necessarily have it do the boat and the water sound every time a new spawn starts or new wave starts at that point in the game. So that's something I have to work out. I still haven't worked out yet how, like, there's a spawn point up here. I think it's up on this side of the little inlet. Yeah, up here. So those guys immediately have to come up this set of steps. They're going to go this way. They'll have to go out around here. And then, depending on if I put a set of steps over here to get down and enable a path through here, or if yeah, I think I need to do that, because I think if I make them come all the way down through here, cross this bridge, come down here and go through the forest maze and then through the swamp to get over here, and then come down through the forest actually at that point I think they would come across here and come down along this river and come in here. I haven't actually tested that yet, so I think it may be prudent to have steps like over here somewhere, where when they come across here they just go down and come around here, come out in the desert, and come down from this northern side of the desert and try to come across this bridge. That might be the way I do it, because that's still a long way. And to be honest, I'm a little concerned about what's going to happen to game performance when it gets to end game and you have enemies spawning from all over the map and you have those long pathfinding things going on. So I may or may not be able to do that, actually do that whole entire, map spawning all at once thing. Like I said, that would be end game anyway. So I don't know. Yeah, I still have a lot of design things to figure out and game balancing. Okay, so on this map, on this desert area, which way do I want to send them? Oh, I didn't text my buddy back and tell him that I'll call him back in a little bit. Alright, let's see. So, move this out of the way. Okay, so I don't want... I think I need some separation here. Because these guys are spawning here. They're going to go this way. As it is. So I think at that point well, it's not going to be on mobile. Yeah, I have to kind of figure out what the limits are going to be. I have an older computer. It's got like a quad-core i5, like 4th gen. It's got a lot of RAM though. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm running integrated graphics on that one, so I'll see what it can do with that. That computer does have, of course I could always pop out a couple sticks of RAM and limit it and see what happens there. But so I think it's got 32 gigs in it. So the least I would be able to do with that one for testing would be bring it down to 8 gigs of single channel and see what that did. But honestly, I don't think, because this is a 2D game, I don't think it's going to use that much RAM, even loading the whole map at one time. If it's even doing that. I'm not sure how Unity handles like rendering things that are, off camera things. That's something I'll have to look into as I get closer to getting closer to finishing the game up. Let's see. So I think that's just going to be there. A little thing here. I'm going to use a bigger rock. We're just going to kind of create a big divide on the map. And I'll have to go through and fine tune and tweak things. So basically, what did I just do? Why am I on erase on my tile palette? Active tile map terrain. Well, I'm not on terrain. I'm on ground, so that doesn't, I didn't do anything then. I think I'm actually just going to close that tab because I don't want to do that again. Okay. I don't know what I clicked, but I think I should have elaborated on your question too, as far as running the logic on pathfinding for each enemy. Yeah, I mean it's a separate entity. Like, they each use the same grid object, so the grid doesn't change. But yeah, I would think that, yeah, it's running pathfinding for every enemy on the map. Now, there is a thing where it only updates the path every half a second, and that's a changeable setting. So I may find that I have to reduce that frequency to once per second or 3/4 of a second to kind of alleviate that strain on the system. We'll have to see how that works out. But yeah, there's a changeable setting for that. Let's see, I think I'm gonna run this over here. I think as long as the character is like loaded into the game, it's definitely using CPU. I'm honestly, I'm a little, well, I don't know if I'm more concerned about the graphics for when you get a whole bunch of enemies on the screen at the same time. One time I accidentally left my demo running, and I put the character somewhere off to the side of the map and let enemies just spawn, and I went to the bathroom and I came back and the map was just full of of enemies, and like the game was chugging at like 1 frame per 3 seconds or something like that. It took me a few minutes to get it to actually shut down so I could do anything. But that was interesting. Okay, I think I don't remember. It was a little bit. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. Of course, my demo map is really small too. I couldn't imagine if this world filled up with enemies, because the enemies have colliders on them, right? They're so the physics system keeps them from overlapping. But yeah, the little demo island was full of enemies. But well, to put it in perspective, I had the spawn waves were set up to add 1 enemy to every wave. So the first wave was 3, the second wave was 4, the third wave was 5 of them, and so on and so forth. And they just kept, and it would do, when 1 wave finished, it would wait a random time between, I forget what I had it at that time, as I've played with different settings for testing. Right now I think I have it set on, for the demo version, I have it set on a random time between like 30 and 60 seconds after the last wave spawn, before it, or after the last wave finishes, before it starts the next wave. So at that time, I don't think I had it that far apart. I think it was more like a fixed like 15 seconds or something like that. But I mean, I was gone for a little bit there, but I do know it was a mess. Alright, I need to decide how I want. I don't think I like that. I think I want the character to be able to go that way through. Oh, I got an idea. Let's just run a couple of these here No. No. For now, I'll use these larger rocks, and I may come up with something different later. So I'm going to put a pathway, an opening right here between two big rocks. Actually, let's do this. We're just going to drag it straight over instead of free-forming it. That looks good. Okay, we're going to take these and we're going to go like this. And that's what I'm going to have for now. So that separates off this from the rest of the desert. Okay, and then so far my pathfinding comes up here. So this comes here. I think I'm actually going to make a loop here. I feel like this is a lot of rocks. I may go back and replace these with these larger ones. Just to have less objects, because I think having all those rocks makes it look too busy. Let's see. Those are spaced too far apart, I think. That looks like a good place for a build spot. And this looks like a good place for a build spot. Actually, I don't know about that one. Maybe. And I think I'm going to have one here. And maybe here. Hmm. Probably throw a build spot there. Not sure how I feel about setting a rock right in the middle of the water, because it looks like it's sitting on top of it, not in it, because it's the same. Yeah, I don't think that works. Okay. Oh, YouTube doesn't like the audio in my stream because it is copyrighted. Alright, I'm gonna have to turn that off. I wonder if I turn the volume down low enough, if I ignore that, or if I have to actually have it like not on at all. Don't know. Well, tell you what, I'm just gonna actually just pause that Spotify. And we'll see what happens. Actually, I've been going for just about 2 hours here. I think I might take a break and come back later tonight, or yeah, I actually just paused or actually, yeah, I turned off Spotify. I paused it. So, and now it's saying it detected it again. It just tells me, heads up, we've detected copyrighted audio in your stream. Your stream may be temporarily blocked. So I don't know. Which I know it's copyrighted. I don't know why they need to send me an email telling me that my stream is live. I know it's live. But anyway. Yeah, yeah, streaming platforms are buttheads when it comes to background music. Like, seriously. Anyway, so I guess what I've gotten accomplished tonight is I've roughed in the enemy's path from the spawn point through the desert. We've got this little kind of loop thing going on here. I feel like I need something in the middle of this besides just another big rock. I don't know yet. And then I've got kind of an entrance point into this section of the desert, and I've got an exit out or an entrance point into the northern part of the desert, where I think this is going to be kind of open. Maybe throw a few plants or something in there scattered around, just be kind of a wandering area. And then over here, I think I'll have that maze to get you back into here. I'm not sure yet. Not entirely sure. I may open this up to go up through here as well. And I might put weird little stuff in there, like I could take 2 of these, right, and make them a little skinnier. Like, I'm just gonna do this real quick for fun, just to see what it would look like. So if I take 2 of these guys, and let's say I just make, oops, wrong. Thing. So say I do that, and then I take one of these guys and set it up here, but I would actually remove, well, I don't know how I do that. I'd have to make this a whole separate game object. Because I would remove the collider on this one, right? But I would also have to change the layer. Oh, that's how. Let's see, not there. I would have to do it in here. That's the game object. There's a sprite renderer. Here it is. So I'd take those and change this layer to overhead. and basically do this. I could take this, rotate it just a bit. It does look kind of weird with that one little piece of rock there. Change this to like 1.5. So I could take some of these guys and make some kind of weird Stonehenge thing. And just kind of have it like somewhere in the map. So like I would take these three objects and group them together like this. Let's call it stone arch. Right, and then I could come down here and then we could actually, not sure if that's big enough for the player to get through, so I could take this and do like a 3 and a 2, which is kind of weird. Yeah, the player would fit through there like easily. So I could have something like that, and then I could make like a prefab of that. So I don't know. That's just something to play with. I don't know. Yeah, like a shrine kind of thing. So it'd be like I would take this and like I could put it in one of these spots here, right? Something like that. And I don't know that I'll leave these in, but for now I think it's at least something interesting. I don't know. The weird thing is, like I said, on this graphic, you've got this extra little rock set in there. So that's kind of weird, but I don't know that I have a wider rock that I don't have something like that on. Like I could take one of these and stretch it out, I guess, but I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I probably won't leave that in there because you can tell it's a stretched version of this, right? But I don't know. If I find some other graphic thing somewhere that matches the art style, I could theoretically add something like that in there for the fun of it. I don't know, just something to take up map space, right? Something for the player to find and see. I don't know, but I think that's what I'm gonna call that for now, for the stream. So thanks for hanging out with me. So yeah, this has been somewhat productive anyway, I think. At least I have something on here besides a big blank desert. So but anyway, I am going to end the stream there, and yep. Progress is good. This is the first progress I've made on this in 2.5 months, so alrighty, I will catch you later. Thank you for hanging out, like I said, and if I don't stream again and see you before then, I will see you on Tuesday.